Right now, millions of Americans are hitting the road for Thanksgiving. What kind of weather conditions drivers can expect during the holiday travel period?
Plus, we continue to follow the breaking news out of Washington, D.C. after two National Guardsmen were shot. We'll tell you whether anyone is in custody.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having us in. Eric Franke is off today.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Tonight, we're bringing you team coverage of the weather and its impact on holiday travel. If you have to go or if you're waiting anxiously for loved ones to arrive, let's start with Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington. Alex?
Hey, did anybody feel the wind today? Yeah, well, gone with the wind. It's going to take a while for that to happen. We had wind gusts as high as 45 to near 50 miles per hour across much of southern Wisconsin, and it is still breezy out there. These are the current wind gusts across the area. 32-mile-per-hour wind gusts right here in Madison, and we have nearly 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Lone Rock, 36 in Janesville, so still very, very strong winds. The good news is the winds are going to slowly work their way down as we get into Turkey Day morning, 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts. As we get into the evening hours on Thursday, 20 to 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then as we get into that shopping Friday, we'll see winds ease down into the teens. Still a bit on the brisk side, but nowhere near as windy as what we experienced today. That light snow, that light is pressing off towards the north and towards the east. So the snow is ending as well. So alert day conditions are easing on up for this set of alert day conditions. 30 on Thursday, 29 on Friday, but that snow is going to start building in Friday night. Coming up when I come back in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about that next impactful winter weather event that is Midwest wide. The latest on widespread snow accumulations of at least 3 to 6 inches, and more details to come in a few minutes.
All right, Alex, thank you. Well, millions are hitting the road as we speak, heading to see loved ones for the Thanksgiving holiday, and that the weather is throwing a wrench in some travel plans. Weather across parts of the Midwest. It's not just here in the Madison area.
It always shakes out like that, doesn't it? Jalen Banks joins us now with a look at travel conditions on the Beltline. Jalen?
Brady and Susan, as you can see here, this is a live look of the Beltline. Things are pretty steady so far. I was out there earlier today checking things out, and we're expected to have another record-breaking travel day. And of those trying to navigate everything are many Wisconsinites, including the weather. This Thanksgiving, AAA predicts nearly 82 million Americans will take to the roads ahead of the holiday to see family and friends. And those people are those driving 50 or more miles. Of that number, they predict just under 2 million Wisconsinites will be taking to the highways during this time.
It's up about 2% over last year, putting us at yet another record high. We've been breaking and resetting that record every year for the last 2 or 3 years, fully recovering from the pandemic downturn that we saw.
AAA also says that the peak travel times for today are between 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. So if you're thinking about hitting the roads right now is probably going to be the busiest. And that will also be impacted later this week as snow and inclement weather is heading our way. AAA recommends adjusting travel plans back home and also leaving earlier ahead of the weather for your safety. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you at home and safe travels if you're taking to the skies or hitting the roads.
Thank you very much, Jalen. And our First Warn weather team will be providing updates on the forecast for the entire holiday travel period on the First Warn weather app. You can download it for free in the App Store by searching WISC Weather.
We are continuing to cover breaking news from Washington, D.C. tonight. Law enforcement say 2 National Guard members are in critical condition after a shooting just blocks from the White House.
A suspect is in custody, and authorities say that person was also shot and is at the hospital. President Trump was not there. He was at his Palm Beach golf course when the shooting happened. One woman who saw it all happen describes what she saw.
I heard boom, boom 2 times. And then the Uber driver said, "Why are all these people running?" So then I look out the window and it's little children, adults running, children on both sides of the street, running in the opposite direction.
The National Guard is in D.C. because back in August, President Trump federalized the local police force and sent troops from 8 states and D.C. into the city. The president warned in a social media post that whoever fired the shots will pay a very steep price. The Secretary of Defense says more troops will be going to the nation's capital in response to the shooting.
More breaking news tonight. We've just received word that the Slender Man attacker is back in Wisconsin and in the Waukesha County Jail. It comes after she escaped from her group home in Madison and took a bus to Posen, Illinois, about 25 miles from Chicago. Local police arrested her at a gas station. Yesterday, she waived her extradition to Wisconsin at a hearing, and that means she will return. As we said, she is back now. Authorities with Wisconsin's Department of Corrections want to revoke Morgan Geyser's conditional release.
In March 2014, then 12-year-old Morgan Geyser and Anissa Weier took their classmate, Peyton Leitner, into the woods and nearly killed her. Geyser stabbed Peyton multiple times as Weier egged her on. The two admitted to the attack, saying they did it to please the fictional horror character Slender Man. Both were committed to mental health facilities. Weier's been out since 2021 on the condition she lived with her dad and wears a GPS monitor.
Iowa County Sheriff's officials are looking for a missing girl. This is 13-year-old Nevaeh Swigum. The sheriff's office says she was last seen in the village of Highland last night at 8 o'clock. She was walking on Spring Street wearing white and black Nike shoes, white socks, a black hoodie, and a black Adidas backpack. If you see her, please call the sheriff's office at the number on your screen.
One person is hurt after crashing into Meadowview Elementary School in Sun Prairie this morning. No one was at the school at the time. At about 5:45 in the morning, an officer saw a car on North Grand Avenue leave the road, drive through a fence, and then go down a steep embankment. The vehicle crashed into the school, damaging the building. Police think the driver suffered from some kind of a medical incident before they crashed.
Madison police are investigating after bullets hit an apartment building on the city's east side today. Officers responded to a complex on Cottage Grove Road just off Vernon Avenue at about 4:50 this morning. Police say someone outside fired several rounds toward a unit. No one was hurt. Police did arrest someone, though, for hitting someone on the scene in front of police officers. Anyone with information about the incident should contact Madison Area Crime Stoppers.
To the Capitol, the Wisconsin Supreme Court is ordering a pair of 3-judge panels to hear 2 lawsuits which argue the state's congressional maps have to be redrawn because they unconstitutionally favor Republicans. All liberal justices and one conservative, Justice Brian Hagedorn, ruled in favor of using the panel. In 2011, Republicans passed legislation that then Governor Scott Walker signed into law, saying cases challenging districting lines have to be heard first by such panels.
Unlike federal courts, the majority chose the judges who will be on the panels. 5 of them endorsed Justice Susan Crawford earlier this year, and 3 of them are Governor Evers' appointees. That's something that conservative Justice Annette Ziegler amounted to handpicking circuit court judges to perform political maneuvering, calling the move unimaginable and a way of giving Democrats an advantage. And while he sided with the liberals, the way the court ultimately chose the judges is something Justice Hagedorn made mention of in his partial dissent, in which he criticized his colleagues.
The state statute doesn't specify. There's nothing legally questionable about what the majority did. I just think that Hagedorn makes a potentially strong political point that it would be good if this court were careful about its optics, particularly given the shrillness with which any action they take is going to be derided by the conservatives who are now in the minority.
The decision to use the panels cannot be appealed, but Schwaber says no matter what the panels decide, that decision will be appealed to the state Supreme Court anyway, meaning that the decision on whether to redraw maps that determine how you vote will be left up to the High Court. Coming up next at 5, how the legislature is looking to crack down on Wisconsin's hemp industry.
And our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde is in Green Bay with the team's mindset going into their game tomorrow against the Lions.
Plus, millions of us will be hitting the road at some point this weekend for holiday travel. Alex tells us when exactly to expect snow and everything else in his first warn forecast.
On Wall Street, the Dow is up 315 points. The Nasdaq is up 189. The S&P 500 is up 47. Stay with us. News 3 Now at 5. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Right now in Wisconsin, there is no statewide testing or age requirements for intoxicating hemp products.
Marijuana is illegal in Wisconsin, but after the 2018 Farm Bill, a loophole allowed hemp products to enter the marketplace.
As our Ellie LaLiberte shows us, a Republican proposed bill looks to crack down on that industry.
The Republican proposed bill would essentially treat hemp products as if they were alcohol, using a three-tier distribution system.
So you'd have the manufacturer, then you'd have the wholesaler, and then on down to the retailer. So we think it makes sense to put everything in the three-tier system.
Representative Rob Swearingen authored the nearly 200-page bill that looks to regulate hemp, a plant from the same family as marijuana. The legislation would also add a 21 and up age requirement and require testing, packing, and labeling standards. But Brooke Bartles, the owner and operator of Madison Extracts, a hemp-based business, has some issues with it.
I think it's a step in the right direction. I think what really needs to be done, though, is in this bill needs to be added hemp legalization along with the regulation.
The bill is available to be scheduled for a floor vote of the full assembly. Representative Swearingen hopes that will happen in January. Reporting at the state capitol, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Ellie. There are also several other hemp-related bills at the state capitol right now. In the Senate, Democrats introduced a bill that would require a 21 and up age restriction. And in October, lawmakers introduced separate legislation to ban the sale of most of these products, which is similar to the new federal law.
Wisconsin is part of a coalition urging lawmakers to oppose efforts to ban state laws that address artificial intelligence, amid reports Congress is considering adding the ban to a military funding bill. In a statement on the matter, Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul said this: Congress shouldn't be sacrificing the interests of the public as a whole in order to benefit big tech.
The Wisconsin judge charged with allegedly helping a man evade immigration authorities will go to trial. Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan was in court today for her final pretrial appearance. A federal judge brushed past talk of a possible plea agreement. Jury selection will begin on December 11th, and if convicted, Judge Dugan faces 6 years in prison.
We're getting a little taste of some Christmas weather ahead of Thanksgiving. Of course, if you're traveling, you want to be safe out there, Alex.
Yes, indeed. Windy conditions will ease on up today, not after having winds upwards of 45 to 50 miles per hour, but they will slowly ease up as we go through the night. As we see here, wind gusts still around 30 miles per hour as we head towards the wee hours of Thanksgiving morning. We'll still have wind gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour at that lunchtime on Thursday, and then they slowly work their way down. By the time we get into that big shopping Friday, the winds will subside for the most part, still on the brisk side. So our alert day conditions are improving slowly across southern Wisconsin. Light snow and radar 3000, that's also diminishing as well. I shouldn't say a nice day. 30 on Thursday, 29 on Friday. Not nice days, but they'll be doable. We're not going to be expecting accumulating snow on Thursday or Friday, but by Friday night, things change again. That weather system that we've been talking about since Thursday and Friday of last week, alert day conditions for 3 to 6 inches widespread. This is for the entire state of Wisconsin, not just southern Wisconsin, and we're expecting travel impacts Friday night going on into Sunday. This graphic here is for looking at our chances for heavy snow and travel impacts. And take note here, stretching from Iowa into far southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, into lower Michigan, the chance for heavy snow is high and the impacts to travel is high. On either side of that, moderate chances for heavy snow to the north up towards Minneapolis and Green Bay, and moderate travel impacts are expected in those areas. So it's the entire upper Midwest that will see this weather system. It's just there's going to be a consolidated band of a little bit more snow, and we're going to track that right now here. But first, starting off with that Thursday forecast, a few flurries across the state of Wisconsin. But watch what happens as we go into Friday. Here comes that snow. Weather models are still in very good agreement. Look how widespread the snow is across much of the upper Midwest by 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. Where the heaviest snow is going to fall is very close to the area of low pressure, just to the north of that. That part is still somewhat uncertain, so we are expecting widespread 3 to 6 inches of snow on Saturday going into Saturday night, wrapping up as we go into Sunday late morning and in the afternoon hours. But what we are still have some uncertainties with is that final storm track. If that goes a little bit further to the south, some of that heavier snow is likely going to go further to the south in northern Illinois, and we have seen some weather models indicating that. But the widespread expanse of this overall weather system, everybody in the upper Midwest will likely see at least some snow accumulation from this weather system. So both ground and air travel will likely be impacted as we head from late Friday night going on into Saturday, and then also going on into Saturday night. Following this impactful winter weather system, Saturday going into Sunday, look at these temperatures behind me. 16 for a high on Monday after a morning low of 4. We could be looking at wind chills as cold as the single digits, if not teens below 0 as we head into Sunday night going into Monday morning. And then wind chills still near 0 Monday night going on into Tuesday. So following this good chance for snow Saturday and Sunday, we're having temperatures that are more typical that we would see later in January, not later in November and early December.
Yeah, that wind really cuts through you today.
Sure does.
Now, are you traveling or cooking? No, you're eating pizza. That's right.
That's right. The Harrington family is having pizza at my place. And that's because our late grandmother, Grandma Harrington, said, now, Joni, you don't have to have a gourmet meal every Thanksgiving. So in honor of her passing earlier this year, we're going to have pizza.
That'll be nice.
Grandma's so wise. Thank you, Alex.
Sure.
Well, the Packers are getting ready for their Thanksgiving Day game. It's going to be a good one against the Detroit Lions.
Our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde is in Green Bay with where the team's mood is at going into the game.
Packers head coach Matt LaFleur likes to say that the NFL is a week-to-week league. And he's right. If you think about it, it was just a couple of weeks ago that I was standing right here at Lambeau Field talking about the Packers' back-to-back losses to the Carolina Panthers and the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Now, fast forward a couple of weeks, and the Packers head into their Thanksgiving Day showdown with the Detroit Lions, having won back-to-back games and feeling a lot differently about themselves. And that confidence, Packers quarterback Jordan Love tells us, is palpable.
Yeah, I think coming off 2 wins in a row was great. I think it's always going to build that confidence. And, 2 weeks that we did what we needed to do. And, I think the mindset, like I've said before, is always going 1-0. And, we know we got in front of us. And, obviously a tough test to finish the season off. But love where we're at. We're in a great spot. And just got to keep, stacking days and hopefully, trending up and continue to play our best ball, towards the end of the season.
The Packers can also take some confidence from the last time they played on Thanksgiving in Detroit. That was 2 years ago. Jordan Love and the Packers lighting up the scoreboard in a huge win that started their playoff push in his first year as the starter. We'll have full coverage of the game and everything leading up to it on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Jason. Still ahead at 5, why the Common Council members say they voted to ban the sale of some pets in the greater Madison area.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Madison is joining 500 municipalities across 8 states in banning the sale of cats and dogs in pet stores.
As Armand Rahman tells us, counselors and the local shelter hope it can disrupt the puppy mill to pet store pipeline.
The city of Madison is hoping to encourage adopting more puppies like these at the Dane County Humane Society with a new city ordinance.
It's so pet forward, it's consumer forward.
According to the ordinance, any retail pet store that is caught selling, delivering, or offering to sell cats or dogs is subject to $1,000 for the first offense and $2,000 for the second, each animal counting for a separate violation. Because wild puppies and kittens are always cute, where they often come from when they're sold in stores. Places like puppy mills aren't.
They're coming from less than ideal environments, often thousands of dogs in a puppy mill is not uncommon. They come with a lot of health issues, sometimes even behavior issues. They pay astronomical sums for these dogs, and they end up with medical issues. We also know sometimes they're even preying on them with financial things, like offering just astronomical lines of credit or credit cards.
Right now, there are no pet stores in Madison that sell animals, but according to staff at the Humane Society, there were as recently as a couple months ago. So they hope this ordinance can be purely preventative, joining 14 other municipalities in the state. Reporting in Madison, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. And an amendment to include rabbits and guinea pigs in the list of animals that can't be sold failed. Alders say they're open to expanding the ordinance to include them after they talk more about how they would enforce it.
In national news, the final criminal case against the President of the United States is over. A Georgia prosecutor dropped the racketeering case against President Donald Trump today. President Trump was charged after an investigation into his alleged interference in Georgia election results after losing the 2020 presidential election. The DA, who originally launched the probe, was later disqualified. The new prosecutor says the legal hurdles in the case would push any trial into the next decade.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is weighing his options to punish Democratic U.S. Senator Mark Kelly. Kelly, along with 5 other Democratic lawmakers who were once service members, released a video last week telling troops they don't have to carry out illegal orders. The president took to social media shortly after, saying that video amounted to sedition that is, quote, punishable by death. The Pentagon said it is investigating Senator Kelly, who had the longest military tenure out of any of the lawmakers in the video.
Stick around, Alex has a final check of the weather when we return.
Well, after Black Friday shopping, you might be in the spirit to give back. Well, how you can help veterans heat their homes this weekend. That story's coming up tonight at 6. And we want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone who helped with the Goodman Center's Thanksgiving Basket Drive.
Good job, everyone. Goodman Center says it received more donations this year than ever before, and someone drove all the way up from Beloit and another from Wyacina to give.
It'll be a Thanksgiving to remember for so many people, thanks to your generosity, and hopefully not because of delays and slippery roads. Right. Hope everybody gets where they need to be safely.
Yep. Tune in again at 6 for the latest for Saturday and Sunday snow.
Okay, we will see you at 6. Thanks for watching at 5, everybody.
Coming up next is the CBS Evening News.